Yes, welcome to Sportsmania. Well, we're back talking internationals. England have given us enough to talk about, I think. Yes, we will roll with the show. It's a bit of a different one, as you'll find out in a minute. Let's go with the intro.
Priceless gem!
So, yes, there we have it. So, yeah, we will be talking international games. Well, we'll be talking the two England fixtures. We'll probably mention Wales as well. Talk internationals in general about a few little topics. First, let's crack on with the panel. So, at the moment, you've got me, and you've got no, it's not John Travolta at the producer's desk. It's not Lottie at the desk. It's a Sam. How's it going?
Yeah, good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Good. You're back. You're on the producer's team now. Welcome to the team, pal.
Yeah, thank you. It's different to be in. It's that little bit more added responsibility. You can just turn up and just speak, but now you're at the wheel, and it's yeah, it's a challenge, but it's good.
Need to press a few more buttons. So, George will be joining us soon once he's done with his show. He gets around. Good old Mr. Sullivan. He gets around various shows. He does all of them. So he will join us very soon. We will also be keeping an eye on the scores. So we will update you on that as there's a few games going on, including Wales, Republic of Ireland, Scotland are in action as well. And obviously you've got Belgium versus Poland, all in the Nations League. So first, Sam, I want to talk the Hungary game. So, I mean, we knew it was going to be tricky because it's in Hungary. There'll be racial abuse. And of course, there was because England took the knee and everyone booed. I don't think we expected a loss, really. What did you think?
Well, I had the privilege of watching this on YouTube as well with a couple of people, and I can honestly say I've seen many England games, poor England games in my lifetime, but I think that one's up there as potentially one of the most boring that I have ever seen, and that boring game of football, like ever. I don't think I can quite explain it, if I'm honest. It was just, I think we turned up with an arrogance. I think we turned up with an arrogance that we would kind of go into that game, even with a weakened side to our full side, and still kind of walk over. But we were shown that we were completely wrong because they fully deserved to beat us.
Which quite says something about Hungary because, I mean, no disrespect to them because they have proven many a times that they're not going to be the whipping boys that people think they are, but they're not exactly a formidable team.
No, you look at that team and you look at a team that I had one or two players that I actually knew of. So, in essence, even with a weakened England side, you still should be making quite light work of that. But I think we just showed, that you can't take any team, however you may think they are form-wise or who you're playing against. You can't take any team easily because you can easily be shown different.
What do you think were okay, we could say we were a bit arrogant. We played, a weaker side thinking we could win this. But what do you think were the problems there? What do you think was the problem with the way England played on the day?
I think there's a couple of things. I don't think as a team they look very together. I think they kind of looked as though each player had never kind of played with the next ever before, which isn't the case. Some of them, yes. but lots of them have. And there wasn't any will, there wasn't any kind of fight, there wasn't any kind of, like, it was almost like a training session to them. There was no, it felt like there was no meaning behind it. There was no one really playing at all.
My impression, it's kind of everyone seemed really surprised because, like, if you think about it, no one expected Hungary to do that well in that group, and yet currently they pretty much sit second, I believe, in the second or third in the Nations League. Well, we are kind of I think relegation position at the moment, which will be interesting. We'll go into the Germany game and what has gone on there in a bit. Well, we'll get George's opinion on the Hungary game and then what else he thought of it and the other improvements when he comes onto the show. So we will come back to this game. I want to move on to talk Wales Ukraine with you because it's a UK nation at the end of the day. So it's one of these games where it's kind of like everyone wanted Ukraine to win, the whole sympathy side. You wanted Ukraine to win, to have something to be happy about. And that can't go on.
Someone that's in the lobby.
Oh, is that the George?
It is.
Hello, right, George.
I feel like one of those England fans traveling through Germany, go from one capsule to another.
I was gonna say you've been everywhere. You go around, mate. You go around.
Yeah. Don't tell everyone that.
Well, we were going to go to the Wales game, but as you've come here, I will take us back to the Hungary game and get your thoughts on it. But as we discussed it with Sam just now,
okay.
Points meant. Well, it was in a simple word, yes. I mean, me and Sam did go into a bit more detail and kind of where it looks like we put out a weakened side. We went into the game a bit arrogant. Lack of willpower was mentioned. I mean, I don't know. What did you think of the game, apart from the fact that it was shit?
I think Southgate's a fraud. Yeah, if you want to start there. I'm not a huge fan of Southgate, as people would know. I get people say we did put out a weakened team, but those players should have been good enough to beat Hungary. Like Window Licker was up front, wasn't he?
Mm.
And you had people like Bowen, who I thought was probably the best England player. And you had Saka come on, you had Mount, you had all the normal lot, I think. It's hard for me because, like, obviously these players have been playing all season, so I'm not a huge fan of this Nations League. So I think these players need a break, but we just play so defensive under Southgate, and I just like, why the hell are we playing 5 at the back against Hungary? Like, I just don't understand it for me. But apart from that, there's not much else to say. It was just shit.
Yeah, because I remember you mentioning in the WhatsApp group that Southgate. Well, was it on your Twitter that I saw you tweeted something that Southgate is very defensive, and that it's something you have been saying for quite a while.
And you're telling me that and you've got people like Stones and Maguire at centre half. Bloody hell, if that's the best we've got, then
Snapping and Stones, the rockery formation.
Yeah, like I'm just like
the way that I look at it though, it just annoys me because we've got the best attacking squad that we in midfield and attack that we've ever had, and we're not using it. So it just annoys me because that's probably where we're not particularly weak in defence, but that's probably out of the like midfield attack.
So, like, best way to explain it, if Southgate was in charge of your Call of Duty game, he'd have all the artillery, but he'd sit down to get a bacon roll before he shoots anyone. Like, and everyone says, "Oh, but he's done well. He's got us to a semi-final and final." No disrespect, we should be. Like, anyone, I think a better manager, we probably would have won that by now.
Yeah,
we definitely wouldn't have lost in the World Cup semi-final, and people say, "Oh yeah, but this and that." But we were in the Euros final. We were 1-0 up, 2 minutes gone, and basically in a home tournament, definitely a home final. And then he sat back again. Like we don't see like it. I think it wasn't Michael Owen, and for once he didn't say something blatantly obvious, but he was like Southgate as like he needs to let go of the leash with these attacking players. If we can play positive, because you go through the teams, you tell me player for player who's better than us.
Not many.
I think we're up there with France.
On paper.
And they've won something.
Mm.
So, like...
I still kind of stick by what I've kept saying to people for a long time. It's just we're wasting the squad. It's the best squad we ever had.
Yeah,
and I don't think, as much as we think, oh, yeah, we're close, but I don't think while he's in charge, we'll win anything.
No, I've said this as well.
The longer we keep him in, the less chance we give ourselves, because obviously we've got this squad now, so we need to take advantage of the squad now. Else, time's going to pass us by, this squad's going to go, and then we're going to go, that was when we were close. We don't want to do that.
So, I mean, what they're going to do in Qatar if we get knocked out in the quarterfinal? Because for me, if we do, he's got to go.
Well, I think Southgate has only so many chances. He's been in charge of England for nearly 6 years, and in that time, yes, we got to the semi-final and the final of a international competition, but we've won absolutely nothing.
What makes me laugh is I see how toxic and flip-flop football fans are for their clubs. We hear, oh, Arteta should go. We hear Tuchel should go. We hear whoever, like, I can't even think.
There has been a goal in the Belgium game. It's Belgium 0, Poland 1.
Wow.
So
Lewandowski has scored for Poland.
Have a bet who scored.
For who?
Poland.
Oh, well, I'd already just said who scored.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear you. So yeah, I was going to say Lewandowski as usual.
Yeah, of course, they're on my team. There also has been a goal in the Scotland game.
Armenia?
Yeah, Scotland are leading Armenia 1-0. So,
wow, I'm shocked.
There we go. Right, sorry, George, carry on.
Yeah, I can't remember what I was saying now. Poland and Scotland took over.
You were speaking about how the managers, how everyone...
Oh, yeah. So they get criticised. Oh, these people should go. But you hardly hear anything about Southgate.
That is true. You don't always kind of hear Southgate's got to go.
I just don't. And then all I hear, well, he's done well. He's a good statesman. That's the best thing I heard him explained as. Public figure, he's a yes man. For the FA, he's perfect. He's like beef dripping roast potatoes in a carvery. You got to have it. But if we want to win, well, we're not going to win under our Southgate for me. Could be proved wrong in November, but I just don't think I will be. Because when it comes to it, to take that final killing instinct, I don't think Southgate's got it.
It's an interesting one because people love Southgate because he got us further in international competitions than other managers did. But the fact remains that we've not won anything. And I guess, do you look at it from this? There's 2 points to look at it. One of them is, well, we've improved in a sense that we are going further in international competitions, but we haven't improved in another point because we've not won anything. So it's, do you value the improvement that we get further in international competitions as step one, but now he needs to make on step 2?
All I'd ask is, if you was a top 7 club, would you take Southgate as your manager?
No.
Like,
also, you could have the argument with, oh, well, he's got you to said finals, but that's a final and a semi-final in 6 years. It's not a great return, really, is it, for a manager?
Like, no, it's not even that, but you look at the players we've got. Like, this is my argument. So, you've got Grealish, you've got Mount, you've got Saka, you've got Sterling, you've got Foden, Harry Kane, whether I think he's whatever, but he's still a great player. Then you've got people like Bowen, Sancho when he was in form, Rashford when they was in form. They're not shit players. Like
On paper,
they're
this team could easily win a tournament.
They're Champions League level players. So, and even people like Declan Rice or Jude Bellingham, like you go through the whole team, Tammy Abraham, they all play in Europe. Like Arnold, bloody Walker. That's like for example, like Southgate, and I assume we're going to talk about the Finney game, but
We will.
Picking players that have played one game because they've been out injured. And everyone can say, "Oh, but we didn't have a left back." Well, you surely don't just pick Trippier because he's played one game in about 6 months.
Well, we will definitely talk the Germany game in a bit. First of all, before we move on to briefly chat the Wales game, Sam, have there been any comments on?
Got one. G's a personal member of my fan club, and she has put, "You got this, Sam." So
Hey.
I've got a fan club.
Hey, G.
Got a cheerleader there. Hello, G. How's it going? Hope you're good and hope you're enjoying the
She
show.
was watching me on Albert show.
Oh, she's a fan of both of you, then you never know. Right, let's talk quickly Wales Ukraine that I was about to talk about earlier. So it was one of these games where you had a lot of people wanting Ukraine to win just to get them something to cheer on, and then you've got had the huge support of the Welsh fans singing the national anthem, which was quite something when listen to it with this in the entire stadium. Let's get your thoughts, Sam. What did you think of that game and Wales going through to the World Cup?
So I will hold my hands up and say that I didn't watch it. So my in-depth knowledge on the game won't be fantastic. But from what I gathered, it was a game that had massive, massive, massive consequences. Because either team to get into that World Cup is massive for them. So, yeah, it ended up with Wales. Like I say, I can't offer you in depth because I didn't see it. But yeah, it was an occasion where everyone was kind of drawn to a game. Yeah, that they wouldn't normally be drawn to, I don't think. But they were drawn to it to kind of see the outcome.
George, what did you think of the game?
I thought Ukraine they'll be thinking they were unlucky because they dominated that game, really. If it weren't for Wayne Hennessy, they would have gone through, to be fair. I didn't think I'd be saying that. I don't even know who Hennessy plays for now. Is he still at Palace?
I don't think so. Don't you know? I'm going to have a look at that.
But
I shall check.
I sound really heartless, but I was glad Ukraine didn't win.
Well, no, because the whole sympathy thing.
It's a sympathy thing. Like, if it wasn't that, no one would be that bothered. And personally, they're going into our group. So, would you rather have Wales in our group or Ukraine, a team that everyone's kind of over, and the adrenaline of what the sad and horrific stuff they're going through is?
My opinion on on that game in gen was that Ukraine were unlucky, but the thing with Ukraine is they had a lot of chances. Some of them, obviously, Wayne Hennessy did a great job at saving, and some of them they just didn't take. So
they had a goal to Zlatan Zinchenko, didn't they? Which
and that was quite early on.
Yeah, it's just a bit of magic from Bale. He put his golf clubs down and put in the free kick, and then the Yarmolenko, luckily for him, it came off him and they scored. But apart from that, they didn't really offer anything else.
That's all right for Bale. The Ryder Cup will be over by the time the World Cup comes.
That's what I mean. So, be interesting to see where Bale goes.
Yeah, I mean, if there's rumours of all sorts, but yeah, you've got Wales England as a kind of derby, and then you've got the lovely rivalry of USA Iran to come in the World Cup, which I'm sure we will be covering at the time.
I look forward to that.
So, in response to who Wayne Hennessy plays for, he plays for one of the world's best teams in all of the land, and that is Burnley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. I wish they lost now. I knew
that. Interesting. Wonder if you'll still
Championship football.
Oh well, At least Wales are happy to sign championship players. Right, well, we've talked Wales. Now we will move on to the next England game then. And we will move on to Germany versus England in Munich. You've had England fans arrested, of course. That's not really a surprise. That game, George, I mean, it was better looking England in a way. Well, in a way, I'd say we could have been destroyed by Germany the way they were playing sometimes. What did you think?
Right, we'll go with the lineup that I alluded to earlier. I don't get why Trippier was playing. He's been out injured the rest of the season for Newcastle. So, and I know people say, "Oh, but we didn't have a left back." Well, we technically did because Saka could have played left wing back, and then you could have brought Grealish in or something. So, actually, players that have actually been playing. But hey ho, Germany started quite well. I didn't think we were playing that well, to be honest, England. And then I thought it changed a bit when Bowen and Grealish actually come on in the second half. But he didn't do a sub, really, until we had to, for me. Like, I know Phillips got injured, didn't he?
Yes.
But apart from that, to try and change the game when we were losing, like 15 minutes left, and he's still sitting there or standing there. Like, and I'm like, oh, you're going to change it. But I suppose on the basis of the play, a point was good, but now we have to win 2-0 against Italy to get through. So, but I'm not so convinced on our penalty either.
Yeah, most people aren't. I've spoken to England and Germany.
More for me, Kane was offside for me. So,
so I spoke to a mixture of England and German fans, and most people I spoke to were not convinced by that penalty at all. Sam, what did you think of the game?
Much like the other game, it wasn't that interesting as an England fan to watch because from what I saw, the bits that I did see, we were just completely dominated. I've watched the highlights back of the bits that I didn't see when we looked completely all over the place at the back. It looks to be, again, like it's a team that doesn't play together at all, and they've never ever played together before, which again is a myth. But it almost looked like they did, and like they'd never played together before. I think it was very fortunate from the run of play that we were only 1-0 down and not a couple more down. And then as for the penalty, you're going to take it if it's in the World Cup. But if I was somebody watching as a German fan, I would say to myself, well, how is that a penalty? Because when he's kind of... So when this light touch happens, the thing that gets me about players is he was already going down, regardless of whether he got touched by that German player or not. He was already going down to the floor with no contact on him at all. So that just helped him on his way down. So, yeah, I would be, if I was watching that as not an England fan, I think you'd be very, very frustrated.
We have a goal Ukraine have just scored against Ireland.
Yes, Republic of Ireland are losing 1-0 to Ukraine. Yeah, but carry on, Sam, or was that it?
Yeah, I just think you'd be very, very, very annoyed if you were watching it as anything other than an England fan, because I think it just makes you wonder as to why VAR's there, because that's kind of
another goal. Scotland lead Armenia 2-0.
Oh my gosh. Maybe it was me that helped them. That me and you were talking before and saying that Armenia were going to win.
You know the captain of Armenia is?
Mkhitaryan, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember him?
Yeah. Used to play somewhere, yeah.
I think it was kind of a point that we didn't really deserve in the end from the run of play.
George, should Grealish have started?
Yeah. I've not been that impressed with Mason Mount for a little while now with England. So I would have started Grealish. and there's no goal in the Ukraine because it's just been disallowed by VAR. But it's like Southgate don't like Grealish that much. Because he don't really ever start him, and he's saying stuff about his tactical play apparently, and about him tracking back and stuff. So I don't know. Personally, I think Grealish plays better for England than he does City at the minute. So
I agree, actually.
I would just start, which is weird because normally it's the other way. And Belgium have just equalised.
Yeah, they have equalised indeed.
So it's like Gillette Soccer Saturday. Yeah,
scored.
Unbelievable, Jeff. Carly.
Also, though, you're playing. I don't know where he was played in the Germany game, but if you go off the Hungary game, he was playing him on the wing, and obviously we know that Mount isn't a winger in any way, shape, or form.
No.
So we're playing someone in a position that's not of the natural position. But again, we're not short of people that can play on that wing. So why are we playing someone out of position? So you're already putting him at a disadvantage before you even started the game because you're playing him out of position. It just doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Yeah, I agree.
I would. Yeah, go on.
It's like he's trying to put shapes into the wrong hole, so he's going to put like a triangle into a square hole. It's just not.
To be fair, that has been mentioned about Southgate quite a lot of times. Actually,
why change it? Play people in the right position, allow them to be positive, and then you might see us win games and play better football. It's not fucking hard. Like I'm not claiming to be some master tactical genius. Like I'm saying to people because people say even someone like Graham Potter or Eddie Howe would probably do really well with England with that team.
I said Eddie Howe, definitely.
Yeah, and I don't understand. Everything sort of like when we're winning, it's like he's just papering over the cracks for me. And then you see really what we're like. Because if we was to play in the World Cup next week, I wouldn't be confident. Not what I've watched the last two games.
Yeah, people are kind of going, aren't they? People are kind of going, oh, well, it's only Nations League. It's only basically a friendly. But this is what we as fans have got to go off for the World Cup.
Yeah.
Yes, the World Cup's a long way away. I get that. But this is...
It is, and it ain't no, mate. Like, when is it? November?
It's only November.
So July, August, about 4 or 5 months. Like,
so as an England fan, that doesn't fill you with any sort of hope that we're going to do absolutely anything. So...
Don't feel we're going to get out of the group.
No, not playing like this, we won't. But it's just everything, isn't it? The confidence. If they come off, right, so let's put this scenario. If they come off losing to Hungary, they come off getting a point at Germany, and then whatever happens, if we win or whatever happens against Italy, that's not going to give us any form of confidence as a team going into the World Cup, is it? Absolutely zero.
And people might say I'm biased, but if I'm Aaron Ramsdale and I'm sitting on the bench watching Pickford, I'm like, what have I got to do to get in this team?
I don't think there's anything that he could possibly do to get into that team. He's had a better season than him, but he still picks Pickford.
Like Maguire, for example. Like how? I'm sorry. Like people say, oh, but for England he plays well. That's not good enough for me. That's probably the worst excuse I've ever heard.
Because people say the same about Pickford, don't they? They go, oh, well, he plays well for England. Well, that's not how you should pick players. I said this the other day in the stream that I was in. Pickford's got this arrogance because he's had no one to kind of compete with him. So he's always just got in however he's played.
Yeah, I agree.
But now he's got someone that is a better goalkeeper in my eyes. That's not being biased.
I think he's got two, because I think Pope's better than him.
And isn't the whole idea of picking an England squad is based upon how they've played in the previous season? Yeah. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to work out who's had the better season.
And I hate Spurs, but Eric Dyer's played better than Harry Maguire this season.
Just to let you know, it's half-time in the Wales-Netherlands game, 0-0.
This is my argument. Everyone keeps saying, oh, but he plays well for England. That's bullshit. So what? Do you think any other country's going to do that? Oh well, he's played well for France, so we won't drop him, or for Italy or whoever.
Yeah, so if you had let's go in the front, so a Belgium scenario. If Belgium's got 2 goalkeepers, one's just avoided the drop in the in the top league.
He'll be out that squad quicker than you say anything.
And then the other one has had a really consistent season. They're going to pick the one that's had the really consistent season.
Yeah.
So I think, as we know, Southgate's got this kind of love affair with Pickford anyway. But yeah, I just don't get it. For me,
it's not just recently. He's done it for, like, you think in the Euros, he's done it with Jordan Henderson. He could only just about walk, and he picked him. Trippier, I wouldn't have picked him because he's hardly played. And Southgate's just done this all the time. Like, oh, we'll pick players who don't. I've got my favourites. So, like, I don't know. Like, maybe it's me. I'm not even saying replace them with just Arsenal players before anyone thinks I'm biased.
Yeah,
the only reason I'm saying is Ramsdale, because he's the best keeper, English goalkeeper, going on at the moment. All right, he's made some mistakes, but it's Pickford and Pope not done that.
I think even like as non-Arsenal fans, if you gave them the choice, like, because it just sounds like we're trying to, like,
I'd rather them not play so they don't get injured.
Yeah,
like, I'm a club person first, not country. So, like, when Ben White pulled out, I was delighted, and when Smith Rowe was playing the under-21, I was delighted. Like, so, Scotland 3-0.
Wow.
The same person scored who scored the last goal.
McKenna.
Yeah, that's it. But like, I'd even say about Maguire, like, he don't deserve to be playing. If you're going to play Maguire, why don't you might as well bring back Luke, like, say, like Luke Shaw. I don't want to keep using the Man United thing because of injury, but if he was fit, why not?
But also,
Ben Chilwell, he's back in training, play him. It don't matter, he can walk. This is how ridiculous it is, though, for me.
But you look at it, and Maguire hasn't played, so really all season. So how has Southgate seen enough?
Because he plays well for England.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So he's not basing his decisions off of the season just passed, and that's what, as a manager,
it's like being a parent of a kid and saying, right, you always eat your dinner when you go to McDonald's, so we're going to go there again, but we're not going to take you to, say, the Harvester because we don't know if you're going to be eating your food. I just don't understand it. Like, for Kaio Tomori has been ripping it up in Italy with AC Milan. Didn't he just win a title?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like, and Scotland goal's been disallowed since half-time. Like, you got Tomori, you got Cody, you got even Tyrone Mings. He broke the record for so many clean sheets. Like, no one's done it. So, like, and I hate Spurs, but Eric Dyer, if he's fit and the way he's played, he surely should be ahead of Harry Maguire.
You do wonder about certain player selections.
Well, yeah, like, especially the German, like, how realistically, three of us, we've watched Premier League football. Would you have picked Trippier?
No.
Well, he's played one game, so why is he being picked? Like, you go through it, Pickford, he might not make many mistakes, but at the end of the day, they finished 17th or 16th, wherever. Aaron Ramsdale's team finished 5th. Like, it's not like their positions are close.
No.
And you're playing Mount as a winger. Like, fucking hell, he's never played as a winger. Saka don't know where he's going from 1 minute to the next. Like, Phillips is injury prone. So why didn't he start Bellingham? So I just don't get it. Like, and Tammy Abraham's sitting on the bench. We need a goal, but he's looking up at the sky. Like, he's waiting for Obi-Wan Kenobi's new episode to start. Might as well.
It's definitely an interesting one. Sam, have we got any comments?
No more since my fan club arrived.
I'm going to ask this question. So we spoke, Sam, you spoke on the show about what your views on the Nations League, but George, I want to get your views on the Nations League. First of all, Nations League as a whole, how much better is it than actual friendly? And then second, should we really be giving players this hectic 4-game international break right after the end of the season?
I think the Nations League is the best thing that's ever been invented. Not.
I was going to say, you did not sound convincing there.
No. I think it's just a waste of time. It's just another glorified way of. It's just a friendly with a bit on it. So, sat down to the bar and just adding extra extra mixer to your alcohol. It just adds to it. I agree with what you said, Hubert, about the hectic start and the fixed international stuff. We want our players to have a break, and then we have to put up with this bullshit. So it finishes on Saturday, doesn't it?
No, 14th of June.
Oh, bloody hell. So right.
George sounds delighted.
So, yeah, the 14th of June, and then pre-season starts on the first week of July. So where's the break that these players are getting? Like, by the time these games finish, Saka would have played 50 games this season, and that's not even being in Europe. So you can imagine if you've got a player like that who's playing every game, every week, realistically, we know Southgate should know who he's going to take to the World Cup, I'd like to think. So why don't he just give all the fringe players a go in this Nations League? Like your Tammy Abrahams, like your James Ward-Prowse, your Bowens, maybe Smith Rowe, maybe like Reece James if he was fit. I don't think he is, but them sort of players, like even Ramsdale, Pope, like you don't need to be playing Kane, like Kane, Grealish, Foden, Mount, all them lot, because they're competition experience already. Where the others, they're not.
Also, I know we spoke about last time about if we kind of knew actually what happens, and I'm going to ask this question now because I'm looking at this because there's obviously 4 teams in our group. If we get relegated, what does that mean? Does that mean
we go to League B?
Yay! And who do we lose to there? Like Kuwait or something?
So, League B, what's that like? Because I still don't get it. Like, I don't think I think I sit with quite a big majority that still don't really get it because it's never really been explained.
I don't think UEFA gets
shit, mate.
I don't think UEFA get point of it sometimes. Basically, you get relegated to League B, and that's pretty much all that happens.
Oh, wow. Who did we get in that?
Well, depends who stays in League B and who goes up from League C to League B.
What's it like? Teams like Lithuania or something?
Well, what you mean in League B currently?
Yeah. So, if we was to compare it,
let's have a look, shall we? Let me tell you who we currently have in League B. You've got glorious teams there, such as I'm just going to get hold of the fixtures. You've got Ireland, Ukraine, Scotland, Armenia. You've got also Iceland, Israel, Albania, Russia, Finland, Bosnia, Montenegro.
I'm not being rude. That's like a get together at Eurovision.
Romania, Norway,
so basically, it's
Serbia,
like
Sweden.
It's like playing Hungary that we've played, but playing them every single week in Group B.
It's like a Eurovision watch party. We'll probably still lose to Ukraine. I I suppose it adds a competitive element, but not for me.
But does it? Because if it adds a competitive element, then everyone should know what you're competing for. But I've just had to ask as to
No,
what
but I'm saying, I
get
suppose, like
relegated.
for the players and that, like, I think if you win it, you get a buy through to the tournament, don't you?
It begs the question. If I'm asking, it begs the question whether the players actually know how the competition
I don't
works.
think many people know what the point of this is because, like, I was reading a BBC Sport article and underneath the heading that said, "What's the point?" it basically kind of said something. Can't quote it directly, but it said something along the lines of, "Yes, there will be some element of a Nations League team qualifying for the next Euros, but UEFA have not decided how that's going to work yet."
It sounds like UEFA.
So, it's
So you're playing in a competition that even if you win, you don't still know the outcome.
I mean, the Nations League winner, if we go to League A, obviously, each team that tops their group in League A then goes through to the playoffs, and then you can win the Nations League. But realistically, you just win a competition. You probably get some money for it, but you don't really progress anywhere if you win League A and then you win the Nations League itself.
I'm not. For me, I'm like, what? What's the point?
Pretty much. I couldn't say it any better myself.
It's my thing with the Nations League, and my honest opinion on it, as I said on Friday's show, is it's something that was made to fill a void of the friendly, and it's not really done it that well.
It's just bunched it all up though, because you never used to get friendlies like this. Like you'd have one or two over a week, wouldn't you? You wouldn't have like bang Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. Who's the other team in our group? I know we've got Italy Saturday, but
So it is Italy, Hungary, England, Germany. In our group.
So, 12th is this weekend, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, part of me's hoping we don't beat Italy 2-0 and we just get knocked out because then we get a rest.
Well, no, either way, we don't get knocked out. Either way, we need to still play the fixtures in League A. So we don't. You still need to play them. Play the fixtures.
Yeah, but we won't have to play the playoff games, would we? Because
you might. Yeah, but you could just finish second and you'll be fine in the group because you finish your campaign. You don't go to the playoffs. You don't get relegated, sort of thing.
That's what I mean. As long as we don't win the group, for me, like, because then we ain't got to waste time doing this.
We'll be playing other friendlies instead, I guess.
Because we only go through if we win 2-0.
Which I really can't see happening if the last two games is anything to go on.
Well, we've not exactly been playing brilliant football, have we?
We ain't playing any football.
Well, I think not brilliant football is a little bit of an understatement, if I'm honest. I don't know how I'd sum it up, really.
Shit.
Dire.
No, they don't pick him.
Well, that's and for good reason, because he is dire.
He's better than Maguire. I'm that poet, and I know it.
Well, have we got any comments?
No, still the same. Still just my fan club.
People are loving the Nations League, mate. I'm telling you, they're busy watching.
Oh yeah, they're busy watching the Wales Netherlands. It sounds like an absolute thriller.
Yes, 0-0.
Yeah.
The only two games with goals in them is the Belgium-Poland, which is 1-1, and then there is the obviously Scotland game where they're beating Armenia 2-0. So yeah.
In just a quick one, I've just brought up the stats of Wales and Netherlands. This just shows how thrilling it is. In 45 minutes, we have had a total of 2 shots.
Wow.
No, 4 shots, sorry. 2 on target and 2 off target, but just from Wales.
I had more than that at Everton.
Just from Wales? What's the Netherlands doing? They destroyed Belgium.
But also, this doesn't really add up because the Netherlands have had 0 shots on target and 0 shots off target, but they've had 62% possession. But Wales have had 38% possession and registered 4 shots. I don't quite know how that works, but
What
there
about?
we are.
We obviously can't get near the goal. The sheep are in the way.
Well, as you can tell, the Nations League is very exciting, and we all love it and can't wait for the next installment. Safe to say,
We're washing my hair that day.
plenty of work to do for England, and Gareth Southgate's selection.
Southgate
still.
out.
You've heard it here first. Southgate out. Right. Well,
Trend on Twitter.
probably.
Southgate
To
out.
be honest, knowing Twitter, I'm not actually surprised if that's going to happen. There we go. We've got 2 more games coming. Italy on Saturday, I believe, at Wembley, repeat of the Euro final. And, of course, Hungary in Molineux coming up on the 14th of June.
Well, we've got to play Hungary again.
Yeah,
Oh, bloody hell.
we've got 4 fixtures in this block.
Honestly, just by you saying that, it's made me even more excited than I was already. I cannot wait to see another.
It shows how exciting it is. They've even put it at the Molineux.
I'm so excited to watch 2 more games where I'm having to pin my eyes open to not.
I think I'll watch the cricket.
For me to just fall to sleep, because it's just, that's what I do when I go to sleep at night. What I do is
Watch England.
I put a repeat of the England game that I watched the other day, and I'm off within about good 2 minutes, straight off.
It's the beauty of Southgate. He turns you on, mate, because Southgate's the one, apparently.
Yes. Football's coming home, boys.
I don't think so, if I'm honest.
The belief.
I hate to burst everyone's bubble that they like to go on in November, and they go out and all go drinking and think, oh, yeah, that's it, we're going to win. But
Everyone does it, but they quickly get woken up. So, yes, we will possibly talk about the rest of the Nations League games maybe next week. Actually, no, we're off next week, so yeah. You won't get the exciting news when England have beaten Italy and Hungary, and yeah. Oh, well.
And Hubert sobered up.
yeah, and
Sobered up.
Yeah, it's coming out with stuff like that. I thought he was pissed, mate.
No, it was... It was a
the
joke.
only way making watching England's any more less painful.
Thank God I'm blind.
I mean, if we're like this during the Nations League, what would it be like during the World Cup?
I'll be alright. WSL, I think's on, so be fine.
Yeah, I've got zero excitement for the World Cup. I've got all the excitement for the women's.
And you know what's mad? I don't really get that excited about World Cups and Euros, but I just think we're going to be brought down to a really bad bout of reality in Qatar. It's just pointing all the right ways to me. Like, it's like Southgate's running out of ideas, and who worse to get knocked out by than USA? Great. We're at the fucking end of it.
Right.
Oh my God, we beat you, man.
Is there is there any cheering
quickly before we get kicked off air?
Before we close the doors on this thing, whatever this is supposed to be, is there any more happier comments?
No, it's still just my fan club.
Well, there we go. That was the international show. Hopefully, we've left you feeling very positive about England and the chances in the Nations League. Exciting. Yes, well, thank you, George. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, people, for watching. Do like
enjoy the Nations League. England's going to win it all. Hooray! Harry Kane's going to lick a goal offside or something. Like, we're going to win it all. You want positivity? There you go. It's going to be that good. Even Pickford's going to make a save, and Maguire's going to head a ball in. Mount's going to pass to an England player. So, yeah. Southgate's the one. Football's coming home, or whatever.
Here is a question I've just been asked, and I thought I'll throw it out to you before we finish the show.
Who asked you? Why are they not watching? Tell them.
They are watching. I just got messaged by us. Would you have, as England fans, would you have allow Gareth Southgate to do something as daring as picking players from lower in the Premier League or from the Championship, George?
If they're good enough, yeah, why not? But it all depends who you mean, like, because
Okay,
if
Sam?
you're saying like James Tarkowski, I don't think
Well,
picking him.
yeah, I think I agree with George. It doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what league you're playing in. If you're better than we've got already, it just shouldn't matter what league you're playing in. If you're better than someone that's in the squad now and you're in a lower league, that shouldn't matter. It should be.
I don't know how Conor Gallagher or Ward-Prowse are not playing more in that team. Like and this just goes back to my Nations League thing. If they're instead of playing the regulars, why can't they just give these other ones a go? And it gives them
Wales are losing to the Netherlands.
Well, at least they've had their first shot. So, in that sense, I don't know. It's all about making a squad this experience, not just your first 11 for me. But some people take this serious and think it's massive, don't they? Like, I don't know, maybe Kane wants back because it's the only thing he might win. He ain't gonna
Just
win
think,
nothing.
us and the picking players from the Championship, like George says, if they're good enough, they should be given the chance.
Personally, I don't think there is anyone that's good enough in the Championship, being England's squad, first of all, at the moment. But if you're going lower league, like players, people like Conor Gallagher, Mark Gahey from Palace, Ward-Prowse from Southampton, I wouldn't even hesitate looking. I think he's English. Dan Burn at Newcastle. Like, we're not blessed with them sort of position. Like, why not? Like, you might as well. You pick Trippier. Why not pick Callum Wilson? Offers you something different.
Give them a chance. It's the Nations League at the end of the day. So
it's all kicking off now. Ukraine have apparently scored again.
What's the worst that can happen, really? You can have Gareth experiment with some players that could perform well in the Nations League and you know have some potential. And then if we don't do well, it's only the Nations League. It's not a big consequence.
No, that's my thing. Like,
we've given something to try.
You're not doing it during a World Cup or a Euros. Like, you do it in friendlies. So why not?
Well,
exactly. Do we really need to watch Harry Kane or Mason Mount or Phil Foden in a Nations League game to say, oh yeah, he could get into the England squad like in the World Cup? I don't think so.
No, because they're there already.
But we could watch someone say like an Ollie Watkins or I wouldn't even say Tammy Abraham because I think he's good enough to be in the England squad. But like say Ward-Prowse, Dan Burn, a couple of the Palace players, Mitchell. And say, oh, yeah, they could break into the squad, right? Because that's what we're doing, the friendly, because we do.
Yeah, it's a strange one, really. Well, we'll see how this goes. Well, thank you everyone for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. We'll hopefully bring some cheerier shows to you over the summer. And follow us on social media. We are at official S-Mania on Twitter. You can get goal alerts for the England games to add to your experience of watching the games.
That's why I don't go off much, because we don't score much.
You can also join us in our Facebook group. You can join us on TikTok, Instagram. We've got a Discord server. We also have a WhatsApp group where we talk everything England at times. So yes, George, where can people find you on Twitter?
You will find me at ClockendGeorge.
On every other podcast around YouTube.
And every other podcast that's going around.
Sam, where can you be found?
Nowhere.
Lincoln.
You can find me on Twitter, Sam Wilson AFC, the I in Wilson being 1. And then on Instagram, Sam Wilson AFC.
You can find me, if you so wish, at Subsonics UK on Twitter. So yes, that is the show. We will be back soonish, but there's big things coming, so please watch the space. There's a lot of things happening here on the channel in the future. So
there'll be more happening here than the attacking third when England play. Just to say that.
Wow, how terrible! I'm not even following you, Hubert. I will now. There we
cheers,
are.
mate. Much appreciated.
There you go. You got a follower. See how good this show is.
Yeah, get something out of this show, then, eh? Right. Well, thank you very much for listening, and we will be back soon. I'm off to find my razor blades. We'll see you soon.
We're on the ball. Come on.
Hey.